Hey, thank you so much for pressing play. My name is Ryan, and this is the Sleeping at Last podcast, where I have the absolute honor and privilege of telling you how my songs came to be. Thank you so much for being curious. I am so excited to be talking to you. Today's episode is all about my new Atlas 3 song, Time Lies, Ludus. I'm so excited to tell you about it. Before I dive into that, I did want to also quickly let you know about a few other things that I've put into the world since the last episode. First is a new acoustic version of my song, Some Kind of Heaven, which is out everywhere now. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. This song was written as part of my Mother collection of songs, which I wrote shortly after my mom passed. And these songs will forever mean the world to me. They help me grieve. They help me honor my mom's beautiful life. And so it means a whole lot to get to share a new version of this song. So this is a bit of Some Kind of Heaven acoustic.
Please help me remember the voice of my mother, reminding me everything's okay. She deeply believed it. Just a little longer, everything will make sense. Broken things will be remade.
Also, I just put out a brand new song in my astronomy series of music, which is music inspired by astronomical events and discoveries. This one is called April 17, 2025, Hint of Life, K2-18b. It was inspired by the recent news that a Cambridge team of scientists discovered promising hints of life on the planet K2-18b, which researchers are saying is the strongest evidence yet that there is possibly life out there. And of course, as with all things like this, the definitive proof will probably never be found in our lifetime. I do think this is incredibly exciting and is kind of a one step closer to answering the question of, is there life elsewhere? And so I was inspired to write the song. I will again link this in the show notes, but here is a clip of April 17, 2025, Hint of Life, K2-18b. And lastly, on May 27th, which as of recording this is less than a week away, I will be playing with full orchestra at Royal Albert Hall in London. And I am so excited. If you are anywhere in the area, I hope I get to see you. Last minute tickets are still available, which I will add to the show notes as well. But I am beside myself, looking forward to getting to share my songs in that space. Okay, now let's talk through my song Time Lies, Ludus. This is the 9th song in my 25-song Atlas 3 project, and as I mentioned before, throughout Atlas 3, I'm writing a song for each of the 7 Greek definitions of love: eros, storge, ludus, pragma, philautia, philia, and agape. I definitely need to learn how to pronounce all of those correctly, because I'm pretty sure I've got a few things wrong, but please pardon my attempt, but I will tighten it up as we go. Time Lies represents Ludus, which is a playful kind of love. It is lighthearted, flirtatious. It is inside jokes. It's teasing. It's pure fun. It doesn't care about the future or the past. It is such a beautiful form of love, and I had so much fun writing this love song. So let's go ahead and listen to it, and then I will tell you all about how I made it. Here's Time Lies, Ludus.
Nothing exists outside of right now. The apocalypse unfolds and the sky comes down. You and I laughing at an inside joke. Never mind what the future holds, held hostage by gravity. All that heaviness can wait. Let's get back on our feet. You and I, neither one of us can dance. That's alright. Here, just take my hand. Time flies forever. So tonight we get to decide what forever feels like. Forever looks like you and I. Let's forget about all the countdowns. The city made of cards, looming storm clouds. You and I, let's play another game. Shuffle again till our luck is changed. Change is simply a matter of mind. The forecast says rain, there will be clear skies. You and I, my heart and hope. Time lies forever on our side. Tonight we get to decide what forever feels like. Time lies forever on our side. Tonight we get to what forever feels like. Forever looks like you and I. Maybe I'm being over naive. The law of physics tend to lean toward adversity. You and I, laughing at another joke, get to decide what our future holds.
So I'll try to stay out of the weeds the best I can, but Atlas is this long-form concept project, as we've talked about. Atlas 1 was all about the origins of everything. It includes the planets and land and eventually us. And then Atlas 2 is all about involuntary human development. So it's what we're born with, but we have no control over. And then Atlas 3, where we are right now, it's all about what we do with all that we're given. So it's voluntary human development. And I've mentioned this before, but there is a little bit of an underpinning of spiral dynamics throughout Atlas 3. And if you are unfamiliar with what spiral dynamics is, in a sentence, spiral dynamics is a model of human development that basically maps how people and societies have evolved through increasingly complex worldviews, values, and just ways of thinking. So learning about spiral dynamics has been incredibly helpful in ordering the themes that I've been wanting to write for Atlas 3. So this song, Time Lies, as well as the two songs that came before it, Build and Destroy, represent the red level or V-meme in spiral dynamics. So here's a brief description of spiral dynamics, this red level or V-meme. Red is the part of us that is all about stepping into your own power. It's the stage where a person starts to say, I matter, my voice counts. And at its best, red brings kind of this boldness, this confidence, and a strong sense of identity. And it's the part of us that takes risks and explores and that breaks free from any limiting rules or traditions. When this part of us is unbalanced, it can be impulsive or rebellious. But the healthy side of red is brave, assertive, and full of life. And so I love the idea of writing all three of these red songs, Build, Destroy, and Time Lies, as arguments with time, because there's nothing more limiting than time. And so that red part of us, I do feel like struggles with it. It certainly does in me. I mentioned in the previous episode, the song Build, it pleads with time and it begs for more time. Destroy wants time to suffer for being so inflexible, and then Time Lies just completely dismisses it altogether. And it's not even out of anger or anything else. It's just because it wants to. And because, as I said, Ludus, love, doesn't care at all about the future or the past. It is such a beautifully and radically present form of love, which is kind of the spirit and the heart of how I approach this song. And that sort of reckless abandon was so much fun to write. So because of this, I chose to record it with no set tempo. So there's no click track, or there's no, the song kind of freely moves around time. So it speeds up and slows down whenever it wants to, which felt like a fun way to reflect the disregard for time that Ludus has, but also the kind of the rebellious part of red in Spiral Dynamics. And so obviously this is why this song is titled Time Lies. Musically, I truly had the most fun making this song, and that is not always the case with writing music. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's just a struggle or a puzzle, and this was pure bliss, which I loved that it ended up working out that way, because you can't really plan for that, and that's the feeling that I wanted this song to have. So I recorded the piano and the vocal live over at Abbey Road Studios in London, which is my favorite studio to work in. I think I've mentioned it before, but when my family and I started spending more time in London, I sort of had it on my bucket list. And like, I would love to just do a day at Abbey Road Studios, assuming that would be sort of a one and done kind of experience. I had high expectations for the history of the place and just it being a really special environment to be in. But what I didn't expect was it just to be as fun and welcoming and warm as it felt. So I've had the privilege of recording there a bunch of times since I've been in London, and it is truly one of my favorite places to make music, and I feel so grateful that I get to keep making songs in there. So as I said, the piano and the vocal were recorded there. And then I invited my dear friend Jason Toth, who's an incredible drummer who has been kind enough to tour with me on occasion. He recorded his drums in his studio in France, and I was so blown away by how tight and glued he played to my non-tempo performance. Because the song doesn't have a set tempo in order to push against the limitations of time, it makes it so complicated to add drums or any percussive instruments. But Jason is a total pro. He's I feel like it is the mark of an insanely talented drummer when you send them something that has no click and they are able to find the pocket. It is such a joy to get to make music with Jason. And of course, the song starts out with my dear friends Sharon and Anya Gerber playing all of the strings that you hear throughout. They are truly the best of the best, and I always feel so fortunate that they continue to say yes when I'm asking them to play on my songs. They are just a total gift, and I am forever grateful to them. So let's just go ahead and listen to how just absolutely gorgeous they played. I wrote the string arrangement for Time Lies in the same way that I've written the last few songs, which has been to sing the parts that I'm imagining, and then Sharon gets those very strange recordings from me, and then she makes beautiful sense out of the chaos. And so here's an example of what I sang. And then here's what Sharon and Anya brought to life. Oh, I forgot to mention, at Abbey Road, I also got to record their Celeste. They have a Celeste in the studio. It is this gorgeous bell instrument. It's one of my favorite instruments of all time, and I've kind of made it a tradition every time I'm there. I want it to be around, even if the song doesn't call for it. I just want to play a chord on it. And so this song did call for it, and so there is a bit of Celeste, and it's one of my favorite sounds ever. Let's talk through the lyrics for a bit. First of all, in the written lyric, there is no punctuation, which is meant to reflect the flippant and slightly rebellious nature of Spiral Dynamics Red and Ludus Love. Similar to not recording to a set tempo, the no punctuation idea felt like another dismissal of a limitation, which is basically what this song is about. So obviously you can't hear the lack of punctuation in the lyrics. The idea was actually really helpful as I wrote because it allowed for several lines to carry double meaning. And even though I knew where one line ended and another began, it made me think through the lyrics in a different way, which was a ton of fun. As I've been writing these love songs throughout Atlas 3, it has been a really beautiful practice of exploring and identifying each love and how it shows up in my life. So for Eros, I really appreciated getting to remember that head over heels love that began my relationship with my wife, Kate, that fever pitch kind of intense love. And for Storge, to recognize how much I benefited from my mom's quiet love for me, and now I see it in my wife and in our love for our daughters. And now for Ludus, in writing this song, I've realized how much humor and jokes and just silly fun means to me. Whether in my marriage or my friendships or with my kids, I love funny things. As I wrote, I wanted to explore all that. The early flirting with my wife, me trying to be funny endlessly, and my wife secretly appreciating the effort, even if it's super annoying. And in my friendships, so much of the joy that I experience with my friends is in making jokes. And then obviously dad jokes are a peak life experience as a parent. So yeah, funny is a major love language for me. And I so enjoyed exploring that in this love song. To be clear, this song is not at all funny. It would have been really interesting and different direction to head in for sure. It does reference inside jokes, but what it is I realize that there's something really special and really beautiful in the way that comedy helps ease the hard things in life. Comedy invites us to be fully present, and that's what Ludus Love is. In some of the hardest moments of my life, there have been these little pockets of laughter that I know soothed the ache. From funerals to time in the hospital when my mom was sick, to some of my wife's and my biggest arguments. Like there's these moments that all of a sudden you crack up, and that's kind of the spirit that I wanted to write this love song in. And all of these ideas are actually right there in the opening lyrics of the song.
Nothing exists outside of right now. The apocalypse unfolds and the sky comes down. You and I laughing at an inside joke. Never mind what the future holds.
That first line, nothing exists outside of right now, I think about that idea a lot because I am a major worrier in all areas of my life. I am obsessed with the future and all its potential to go awry. And in love and really all areas of life, it's been a really helpful thought to bring my mind back into the present. And when I think back about the most beautiful moments in my life and in my marriage, there is that feeling there too. It's being wholly present and just with each other. And so that felt like the right foot to start the song on. It also helps reinforce the concept of the song, Time Lies. Therefore, nothing exists outside of right now. Following that line, I sing, the apocalypse unfolds and the sky comes down, you and I laughing at an inside joke. I had a ton of fun being extreme with the language here. I just liked the ridiculousness of the world ending and the sky coming down and then just cracking jokes. One idea that I was trying to write in the song was that throughout the song, I'm singing from a more sensible space with each verse. So it starts off with the most extreme, with the world ending, and then the following verse I'm singing about being held hostage by gravity. Still extreme, but a little less intense. And then I'm talking about a city made of cards and looming storm clouds, which is still a bit out there, but a little bit more sensible. And then I sing about the forecast says rain, which isn't extreme at all. And then the song lands in this healthy space and adds some self-awareness. Maybe I'm being over naive. The law of physics tends to lean towards adversity, which what that means to me is it's just basically accepting that hard things happen and it's okay because jokes and fun and love happens too. In those final lines of the song,
maybe I'm being over naive. The law of physics tend to lean toward adversity. You and I, laughing at another joke, get to decide what our future holds.
That's meant to be a celebration of free will, of getting to do life with my wife, of getting to aim toward a future that we want. And musically, it felt good to hold there and not resolve on that last chord, which of course is the idea of that last lyric. We get to decide what our future holds. There are little nods and references to my wife's and my relationship all throughout the song, and one of them that I wanted to share is in the line, "You and I, neither one of us can dance, but that's all right. Here, just take my hand." My wife and I are not dancers like in any way, shape, or form, and we've been together for nearly 25 years now. And dancing is just not us. In fact, we didn't even have dancing at our wedding. So this lyric is a little nod to neither of us knowing how to dance, and also in the context of Ludus love, proposing that we do it anyway. I don't do this for every song, but for most songs of mine that have a theme, especially in Atlas, I love coming up with a vocabulary when I'm writing the song. And I've talked about this in previous episodes. Basically what that means is I just list a bunch of words together that are kind of in line with that theme, and then I see how many of them I can get into the song. So this song has a vocabulary of play, and so lots of words that bring to mind play are scattered throughout the song. So in the song, you'll hear these words: laughing, joke, dance, cards, play, luck, game. Even though it's not a single word, I wanted to include the words cross my heart in this song, because as a kid, instead of saying I swear, it would be like cross my heart when you're telling something really serious and you want people to know how serious it is. And there are a few little Easter egg sounds throughout the song as well, which is a tradition in all of my music. There's always a few hidden sounds throughout. In this song, there is a reference in the lyrics to playing cards. And so if you listen real close, you can actually hear cards being shuffled. It's actually cards from the game Lorcana, which is a Disney game that my girls and I and my wife all play and collect, and they're really, really fun. It's basically Pokemon, but Disney. And so you can hear some Lorcana cards being shuffled. My family and I went to Kew Gardens outside of London, and there was this beautiful robin that was singing and kind of looking at us directly in the eyes. And so I thought that would be really fun. It was right around the time I was finishing this song, and I was like, something about this sound belongs in this song. I don't know, it sounds hopeful. And I placed that right under the lyric, the forecast says rain, but there will be clear skies. And then it's probably less of an Easter egg because I think you can hear it pretty clearly in the final mix, but it's a manipulated ticking clock. Again, time lies, and so the idea is that I'm taking a clock and shifting it to the tempo of this song, which is completely rubato and free in tempo, and so I'm forcing the clock to be on my time. So in a nutshell, which that's such a weird phrase, but in a nutshell, this is a love song for my wife, Kate. It is a reminder to remain present as often as we possibly can. It is a reminder to myself to prioritize fun and play and joy, even in, maybe especially in the face of difficult times. There's always more to share, but I think that feels like a good stopping point. Thank you so much for listening. I am so honored that you are curious about how my songs get made, and just feel really, really privileged to get to talk to you. The next song in my Atlas 3 project is called Doubt, followed by a song called Believe, and then will be another love song. And I am so excited to not only record those episodes of the podcast, but just to get to share that new music with you is truly such a joy. I hope you have a really amazing rest of your day, and I so look forward to getting to talk to you again very, very soon. And now that you've heard all of the details that went into Time Lies Ludus, I thought it'd be fun to end the episode by playing the song in its entirety one more time. So thank you so much again for listening. I really appreciate you.
Nothing exists outside of right now. The apocalypse unfolds and the sky comes down. You and I laughing at an inside joke. Never mind what the future holds. Held hostage by gravity. All that heaviness can wait. Let's get back on our feet. You and I, neither one of us can dance, that's alright. Here, just take my hand. Time lies forever, so on our side tonight. What forever feels like, forever looks like, you and I. Let's forget about all the countdowns. A city made of cards, looming storm clouds. You and I, let's play another game. Shuffle again, till our luck is changed. Change is simply a matter of mind. The forecast says rain, there will be clear skies. You and I, my heart and hope. Time lies forever on our side tonight. We get to decide what forever feels like. Time lies forever on our side tonight. We get to what forever feels like, forever looks like, you and I. Maybe I'm being over naive. The law of physics tend to lean toward adversity. You and I laughing at another joke. get to decide what our future holds.